Hello, hello, hello. Mic check. Hello, hello. Mic check. Hello, mic check, check. Hello,
नमस्कार, मैं दिव्या हूँ। मैंने आज को
Good afternoon and welcome all of you who are assembled here in TIFR and also a large number of you who are on the social media channels of Asset Colloquium. Uh, Also, let me warmly welcome today's speaker, Ms. Veena Kamath, the Managing Director of Maharashtra Knowledge Commission Limited, for this talk, not only on behalf of Asset Colloquium, but also whole of the Institute and also Professor Jairam Chenglur, who is the director of TIFR. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here today, and so feels sorry about that. And I just want to take you back for a few months back. If you remember, some of you probably were sitting in this the same venue, attending Dr. Anil Kakotkar's 80th birthday felicitation. That was on 11th November. And to me and also many of you, the one talk that probably caught attention of all of you with, as I said, a very beautiful deck of slides and extremely well articulated talk that Ms. Kamath has given. And so much so, Professor Sandeep Trivedi, former director of TIFR, was actually chairing that particular session. As soon as her talk got over, and when he was summarizing the talk and making comments, he didn't take more than a minute before extending her an invite to speak on this very asset colloquium. And I still remember sitting there, and he was really, really quite excited And also, I mean, of course, he also said that though that particular time, he didn't see many of the students sitting in the audience. So he felt that it is strongly needed that there should be a specific interaction session with you, with our graduate students and postdocs. So hence this whole program, and also the special arrangement of uh, having a special timing. Usually the colloquium is at 4 o'clock. But we have it today at 2 o'clock because you would actually listen to her, followed by a very special interaction session, specifically kind of designed for our graduate students and postdocs. So with that little intro, let me do a kind of honors of introducing today's speaker. Sir. Actually, there is a huge left-right symmetry that I saw that it was heavily tilting on one side of the hall. Okay. Ms. Kamath has a major in economics from Mumbai University and has done her MBA in international finance from University of Alaska, US. She has worked with the University of Alaska Alumni Association during her stay there. After staying in the US for over 15 years, she moved to India in 2000, and she taught international business in MBA school and worked for a small stint in the International Institute of Information Technology, and following which she actually joined Maharashtra Knowledge Corporation, MKCL it is called. In fact, she started with this company from the very day, its day of inception, with only 4 people, and today it has risen. She has risen, of course, to the managing director of the MKCL and has an employee strength of 400 and a network size of over 10,000 centers spread across the country with more than 50,000 people working for it. So that is a kind of growth you can see for the last about 20 years. And she has served on several national and international boards, MKCL Foundation, and is a member governing body, Science and Technology Resource Center, Gondwana University, Gadchiroli. And I know it's very tough to introduce such very, very eminent people. It is a great pleasure that we are able to host you within a few months. And we are very much looking forward to the lecture as well as the interactions that are going to happen. Please.
It's right there, right? Over there, yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Thank you. Dr. Satyanarayan, Dr. Shubha, Dr. Parag, all the faculty members, wish you all a very good afternoon. And I must say that it's really a privilege and an honor to be here within just a span of few months. And I was sharing my feelings with Dr. Satyanarayan and Dr. Shubha. I said that I'm not a physicist or a biologist or a nuclear scientist, and I chose not to get into the field of science, but had a very different path. And as destiny would have it, I came into a field which I'm thoroughly enjoying. So under this platform, in this wonderful premise, and on this lovely campus, where so many of you are living the dreams and the vision of Dr. Bhabha, I feel really good to be here. I chose to come back to this country, getting inspired by Dr. Mashelkar, Dr. Kakodkar, Dr. Bhatkar. When we were in the US, we kept reading about these people. And my husband is also a petroleum engineer and an eminent scientist and a emeritus professor. But we felt that we wanted to come back to India. And at that time, we were outliers, outcast. Our family and friends over there felt that we were absolutely crazy to go back. But let me tell you, I have not regretted one bit. I saw some students, maybe they will make those choices, but I felt that I must say this. So it is this journey which has continued to be that magnet for me personally. And the fact that finally, what do we want to do? How do we contribute to the society? We all speak about it. And luckily for me, I met Mr. Vivek Samant, founding managing director and chief mentor today with MKCL. And I think that's how the journey began. Today, I'm aware that people in this room are possibly very far away from all that is happening because you all are the very elite group in India. But I still take this opportunity to share with you what it is to work in India at the absolute grassroots level. And let me tell you, there is a lot of joy. One derives the joy when you see that one student getting empowered and standing up on their own feet, not dependent on any charity. And that's what we do. The dignity of every citizen, every human being is retained, and that is the ultimate motive for us in the organization. And how can that person without charity be empowered completely? So like Dale Carnegie said that let's not give a fisherman a fish, let us teach him how to bait. And that's what we have done over the last few years. So this is a journey of working on digital transformations in education, development, governance, and empowerment. I represent an organization called as Maharashtra Knowledge Corporation. This company was formed just at the turn of the century. And that makes it very interesting in two ways. That was the same time when the dot-com burst and people felt that computers and internet is not going to go far aways. People were losing their jobs and there was a great amount of negative mindset about computers. On the streets of India, people were burning computers at that time. So this company was formed when there was a complete dip in this field. Interestingly, at that time, the forefathers of this organization felt that no, this is still going to work. We need to not just send the Indian brain of brains to Silicon Valley. What are we going to do in India? This digital divide, if it continues, because everybody is going to Silicon Valley. Advanced computing technology, nobody was ready to stay in India. At that time, this company was formed. And they said that if we have to do something, we cannot just form a company which is going to be formed, promoted, but we need everybody to be involved. So 10 public universities in the state and the government of Maharashtra. So this is one of those very unique corporations, even today in India, which has a 37% stake by government of Maharashtra. So it's not a majority shareholder. All the public universities in Maharashtra together, they have a 33% stake, and the rest of it is held by NGOs and employees. So it's a very, very different sort of a corporation. And you can imagine that if government is investing, they would always like to at least have a 51% stake, right? So government of Maharashtra is only having a 37% stake, not too much. So we commenced our operations in a year later. And where are we? 22 years into the system. We are CMMI 3 compliant. We have ISO, we have ISMS. So we meet all the international standards. What is MKCL and why was it formed? Like I said that, we were entering a knowledge society. These were terminologies which were not in common parlance at that time. But we have to do something, because if we do not offer something to the citizens of the state, this will be one of the biggest digital divide. And if we are able to bring frameworks, if we are able to transform a society, we need to have a technology-enabled platform in each of these fields, whether it is governance or it's empowerment. And why was it required? Because the problems before us, as always, continue, that millions of common people have to be brought at rapid speed. We have to bridge the digital divide, because the computers at the time were only in big labs, not accessible to people. So you had to take prior permission and access the computer labs. Now that means that it's not just for the elite, but the elite of the elites, right? So the question before us was, if we have to bridge these digital divide, then only we can bridge the knowledge divide, and then only we can bridge the career opportunity divides. And what does this mean, and why should we do that? Why should we bridge this digital divide? Because otherwise the common people cannot make an entry. I should be very confident enough to use the computer. It should be used meaningfully. So that was also very essential. And we continue to solve this problem. Now, we speak about these things very easily. What is a knowledge society? And what are the challenges and opportunities before us? I just want to showcase these challenges and opportunities. Why? Because as we progress into this century, actually, the problems are getting worse. There are climate change issues, so we are all worried about our planet. At the same time, we have to worry about the people as well. The economic disparity is increasing. And it's not just increasing in India, but worldwide as well, it is increasing. The haves and have-nots population, the migrant population, these are big issues that are being addressed globally by most of the countries. And we are in discussion with these countries, and these are so-called developed countries from our perspectives. The problems that they are facing are very different, because the have-nots become a liability on the system. And that's why the future of people and planet both have to be addressed at the same time. Let's look at the various population profiles. And for right now, I'll just showcase what we have in India. So we, the people of India, 1/3 Indians are here. We are also very creative, innovative, and imaginative. We are there. We are here. We are into steel building, manufacturing of steel, manufacturing of automobiles, where automation has come in, robotics has come in. At the same time, we find manual work as well. Ladies are into the agrarian sector. Even today, largely the population of India, 65% of the population resides in the rural areas. And the rural area population, their income is half of that of the urban households. Of those, only 10% of the people who live in the rural areas have a salaried income. What happens when a drought-like situation comes? This income, which is 50% of the urban households, drops significantly. And currently, in the state of Maharashtra, we are going through this situation, which is supposedly going to last for another 2 years. This is a big concern. So the diaspora of India and the Indians, we are into manufacturing, we are into households, poultry and agrarian, all sorts of sectors. At the same time, Indians are migrating across the world. In fact, there is an informal discussion, are the Indians colonizing the world? And the statistics which came out last year is a lot of people are moving outside the country and they are giving up their Indian citizenship. They're not going there for higher education. They're purchasing the citizenship of these countries and they're packing up, lock, stock, barrel from India and migrating outside. So in India, we have a wide variety of people and population profiles. Our people are very artistic, rooted and remote. At the same time, this is also a reality. We are having students who are dropping out of education system. They are late bloomers. They unfortunately do not have role models. And I was just sharing some statistics with the faculty over here. This year, there has been a huge drop in enrollment in higher education in the state of Maharashtra to the tune of 2 to 3 lakh students. What happens when students drop out of higher education? That's going to be an emerging social problem for us. And I'm only speaking about the state. I'm not talking about what's happening in India. This is another segment of the population that we need to worry about. I wanted to share this entire diversity because these are some of the areas that we work in. We work for the left outs and left behinds. We work for the late bloomers. We work for the youth. We empower them. We work for the citizens. And if I get time, I'll show you the various verticals we work in. But today, my primary focus, this is another emerging group. And now I want to bring the main focus and what does MKCL work on? I showed you a complete variety of different profiles of population. As we move, we have to work with a very large population having different aspirations and ambitions who today are demanding world-class quality. With data and internet and data prices in India are the cheapest in the world. The world has become flat and it has become flatter, in the last few years. Because I am having access to the best of information, the best of the services. So we need to give world-class quality at very affordable costs. Anything that we give should be in the affordable range. It's mandatory. But the quality cannot deteriorate at any time. So, you pull one segment, you want to give good quality, you want to get the best of faculty, the fees is going to go up, right? It's but obvious. So we are always solving these 6 equations at the same time. That anything that we offer has to be delivered very fast. Any learning, and I'm going to focus more on education today, where we are bridging the digital divide. Classroom enrollment has not just gone down, but classrooms are unoccupied. That is also a big problem in the country. And why it happens, that's something that researchers like y'all can get into. But if the classroom content is not good, it's not engaging enough, we're not going to be able to do that. So when we saw all these profiles, the only way to move across the terrain, move across to millions of people, reach out to millions of people, these solvers have to be very, very smart. And at the same time, they have to be really wise, because it has to outsmart everybody. So to deploy and get into edge, we established one of the largest public-private community partnership models, wherein we are ensuring that duplication does not happen, wherein we ensure that partnerships happen. And because of that, we are able to pull into all the resources which are available in the state. This is a presentation that I want to make, which is showing that each of these innovations are essential to reach out to the masses. And I'll walk you through each of these innovations shortly. I'm going to present to you a case study. This is a program. I don't know how many of you are from Maharashtra. MSCIT is a flagship offering that we introduced. It's a Maharashtra State Certificate in Information Technology. This is a digital literacy course. It's an IT literacy course of 3 months. It is recognized by the government of Maharashtra. And this course is promoted across the state so that we reach out to the millions of people. Who are these millions of people and how can we reach out to them? We have to make it affordable so that our centers are in Nevinagar, in Kulaba, we have a center. At the same time, you will see that our 5,000 centers are across the state, right up to the Naxal affected areas, the hilly areas, the tribal areas as well. Our network that we have, it's a pyramid structure, and it's one of the largest public-private partnerships in the world. So the pyramid structure has, I would say, regional lead centers at every university location in the state. Then we have 39 districts in Maharashtra, and then we have 100 strategic business units. So just to bring across some facts and figures and how we have reached out to these people. We have 5,000 authorized learning centers. We have 100,000 workstations in the state. These are all connected with us centrally. And annually, approximately 1.2 million students register with us. They pay the fees, so there's no grant which we receive from the government. We received the equity from the government when we started this company. And since then, we have been paying them dividends, approximately 20% per year. So we've been doing our part. This is a fast track enabler, and all these institutions, formal and informal institutions, are a part of this organization. So this is a heat map of where our centers are in the state. Very, very deeply penetrated. Every district, we have our presence. Every taluka, we have a presence. We have another 1,500 satellite centers, which are, for those who are familiar with revenue inspection circles, RICs, we have 1,500 centers over there, where people migrate from these areas every season. That still happens in the state. Most importantly, like I said, there is no grant that we receive. Each of these centers stand up on their own feet. It's a wealth-creating enterprise, self-sustained, and they continue to grow with us. We run this very professionally, where if the center does not perform, there are performance criteria. they cannot continue with us in the next year. Where are we 22 years into the system? We have reached out to 1.5 crore students in the state of Maharashtra. So each year we have trained and made people IT literate, approximately 8 to 9 lakh students. This is the figure for the state of Maharashtra. The IT literacy course remains the same, but it goes by different names across different states in India. So we have our presence in Orissa. We have trained more than 1,25,000 students. In Haryana, 93,000 students. Bihar, very interestingly, we have made people IT literate over there as well. And more than 20 lakh students have done our course. So this is completely, of course, funded by the Bihar government. But most importantly, we have 51% female enrollment over there. And so there are 2,000 centers and all of them have to abide by our system. So wherever we work, this is one important element. We just do not provide them the content, or we do not come in as software vendors, but we work with them as knowledge partners. So how do we propagate? For example, in Bihar or Orissa, how do we propagate that people should learn? We run television programs there. We set up these centers. We mobilize our network partners. They go to these schools, the colleges, they conduct seminars, they conduct events, mohalla activities over there, and encourage people to learn. 20 lakh students in Bihar learning, becoming digitally literate, learning English and learning soft skills. We do not read about this in the media here. We are also internationally in Saudi Arabia and in Egypt. It's an IT literacy program. We set the benchmarks for IT literacy. So entering knowledge society, even today, Davos 2024 was dealing with this problem. They said that why are we, economic disparity, climate change, required talent not available. What does that mean? People across the world are not digitally literate, because if you have to stand up on your own feet in a knowledge society, everything has become digital. Everything has become digital. People shy away from computers. People shy away from becoming digitally literate. And digitally literate does not mean knowing how to turn on your laptop and watching YouTube. And I'm going to walk, yes, sir. Yes, I'll come to that. I'm going to speak about what does IT literacy mean, because we set the standards for the world, and I wouldn't say we dictate those standards. Supreme Council of Universities, Egypt, has given us a letter, and it is accepted by the MENA region over there, that if you want to start a IT literacy program, take what MKCL has. Okay, so I'll come to that, because in 22 years, so much has changed, right? And especially last few years, it has changed every day. So we update our content, and I'll come to what it is. So our MSc IT program is, there are 3 branches for school students, for those who seek a job, and for those who do not know much but want to get into this space. So what is that? You asked the question at the right time. This is what we cover. So we are not Microsoft inclined. We teach Google as well. And we have, we deal with Microsoft directly. So we are their largest partner worldwide. So all our centers have licenses which we purchase for them. So there is no escaping that fact. Students learn all these things in a matter of 3 months. So it's a 120 hours program. What does digital literacy mean? Like I said, it's not just turning on a computer. It's not just knowing Word, Excel, PowerPoint, but it is also knowing the social media skills. It's very important. It's also very important to know that I should not get hacked. So I must know cybersecurity as well. I should also know how to do my transactions. I should know how to change the address if on my Aadhaar card, if I move my residence. So if you notice, we have digital India skills, we have job readiness skills. We teach them how to prepare their resume, but that's not good enough. We teach them how to upload their resume and get a feedback from AI through resumeworded.com. These are some very small things which are required. And possibly these students over here may know all these things, but Stanford has done such a good job on this. They have resumeworded.ai, and you upload your resume and it gives you a complete input on what are those things that you can do to ensure that your resume stands out among all those people. So these are very small things, but your entry into the digital world becomes more confident once you know all these skills. So each one of those things, like for example, netiquettes and computer ergonomics, everybody makes a mistake. They have health problems later on. And so many people had health problems or back problems, spine problems after COVID, because they had never learned how to sit in front of a computer properly. Even that is a part of digital skills. We teach smarts typing because so many kids, it's important to know that, but they don't know how, voice typing. They do not know these things. So there are 12 pillars that are covered in this. And that's why we say that we set the standards for the world. The other thing, these are all differential skills, like how to make the word bold, how to write in caps. We have to move away from that. So we teach these students 250 outputs. That student has to become confident when he comes out in the market. So he learns and he should be able to stand up on his own feet. See, there are many things that we are trying to solve at the same time. We teach them integral skills. If he wants to have his own small enterprise, what does a corporate identity plan mean? I should be able to prepare my visiting card. I should be able to have my own letterhead. I should be able to have my own envelope of my company, right? I should be able to know how to prepare a logo. These are small things. So these are 200 and, I'll just go through this, but a business card, professional letterhead, then a business proposal, a bankable proposal. So many students don't know that. How to prepare a good PPT. Very difficult, but we teach them that, What are the do's and don'ts? There are some danglers over there that they learn. So, these are the 250 such outputs. For example, this infographic poster, I have to prepare something. Use this. At the ground level, in the remotest part, people want a wedding card designer. These are some of the various roles that a student can perform and start earning. We believe in one important thing, and it's very important, that why should we learn? Why should we learn? We always say that, learning is not complete. You remove the L unless earning happens. So you remove the L, earning, that student has stopped learning for some time, but the earning must happen. And then he moves on to become a lifelong learner because he has already started earning, right? So these are some of the various things. Photo retoucher. People, there are so many jobs there, and we need to teach them these skills. You can see that these are actual outputs that a student learns. For students who are school-going kids, they also need to know how to use a computer, but we teach them GeoGebra like apps. So there are about 100 such apps that we teach these students. So it's for all segments of the population. So in our approach, in our pedagogy, we are catering to a wide audience, a large, diverse audience who understands language differently, who learns differently. Some listen and learn, some read and learn. So, like I mentioned, the last line, learning, it's a process that leads to earning. Our approach in this digital divide is that it's not about rote learning. Learning does not get completed unless they have actually performed the task. So the learning, remind you, all of this is happening on a digital platform, okay? where we cannot find faculty at the interiors, or even in, like, I move out of Kulaba and I go to, let's say, Andheri or Dadar, I'm not going to have a faculty like Dr. Shubha over there. And that's where the differentiators start. So when you have to deal with millions of students, the content can be engaging if that learner is engaged in the process. The learner gets engaged in the process because he's not just being informed, he has to perform on a tool. And that leads to the transformation. So the outputs in any of our courses, it's not just an output. He's not learning how to prepare a bomb, but he's learning some socially useful, productive outputs. And this is a terminology which was coined by Mahatma Gandhi, SUPW. We use, yes? Good question. It's all prepared in-house in MKCL. All of this content is prepared in-house. We do our research. The 400-member team that Sir spoke about, it's all in-house. And we were discussing what is it, at which point does a student start learning? And at which point does the educator really engage with that student? So it's a learning process between the faculty and that student. So we adopt this method of constructivism. And we want to change the mindset of these students from the industrial mindset to the knowledge as they enter the knowledge economy. Because what is important in a knowledge economy is that I have to be a lifelong learner. And I should be able to contribute in my learning. I should learn at my pace. And learners, millions of learners are going to learn differently. It's not just the language aspect. I just want to highlight over here that what are the various approaches we take in our learning content. And these are, like, for example, we ensure the self-esteem of the person is retained. He becomes a confident student, right? That is one very important element for us. Self-expression. When the student prepares the wedding card designer, I'm not taking something which Nataraj has prepared. I want to, if I'm preparing that wedding card, I should be able to express myself. I should be able to have Veena Kamath's reflection on that. So these self-expressions are also taught in the system. There are a lot of do-it-yourselves, 250 do-it-yourself outputs that the student has to prepare. And this is completely, evaluated. And I'll show you how we do that. All this e-learning, you asked me who prepares this content. This is a huge e-learning platform that we have. It's on a cloud. We have a factory. It's an e-learning factory that we have, where we have a huge, just for MSCIT, we probably have like 1,500 hours of content, possibly. So it's a huge repository. Now, every student, just whether he has learned is not enough. He has to be assessed, whether he is on the right path or not. These digital platforms, which we call ERA. Mind you, every word over there is important. So we call our learning management system ERA, which is a e-learning revolution for all. The word all is very important. It's not an e-learning revolution for few. So this platform is very robust. It's scalable, because we have lakhs of students accessing it. The interesting part about this learning platform, it is not purely online. It cannot be purely online in India, because the center or the student in Gadchiroli, which is an Naxal-affected area, he's not going to have internet and power all the time. When he opens, sometimes they tell us, ma'am, when we open this door, ek cheetah baslela asto. These are real life situations. But baslela asto. तशा conditions मध्ये आपले centers चालतात. Because, we read about these things in the paper, but we never think that these people are outside, right? प्राणी बाहेर येतात. Animals come out, and the student is not able to go and reach the center. These are realities. Anyway, we'll,
we jump over puddles to come to TIFR.
So there are simulations and assignments, everything. Yes,
How is the internet, syllabus?
not available, sometimes not available. Sometimes, because they are not on the grid. Even in Bombay, sometimes we have centers who call us and tell us that it is not available. So I'll complete my sentence. Hence, this content is available locally. It is quasi-online. That is the most important thing. It cannot be, otherwise learning will hamper, right? If the student cannot access the content, Wi-Fi networks may be there, but somebody has come and dug the road. Even in Bombay, it happens all the time. So this is a large e-learning platform that we have, highly personalized for that student because the content is available in multiple languages for that student. I'm sorry. Oh. I think I've skipped a few slides, but nevertheless, it was, so it is hosted on servers in-house, but the content is available to the students locally. And it's a mass personalization approach whereby the student accesses the content, learns at his or her own speed, stops the content, has to perform. So it's informed to perform, learns, then, okay, he has to prepare a, let's say, a visiting card. Okay, for example, he learns how to prepare the visiting card. Then the system stops and says, okay, now do it yourself. Centrally, how are we going to check whether that student has done it properly or not? We have inserted, hence the digital transformation helps a lot because the student, if he does not perform, doesn't click here, click file, open, insert table and insert a shape. If that student goes wrong, the system prompts and says, well, try it again. So it's a very unique, complex system that we have built, hence ensuring that the results are same, the speed would be different for each student. These are some of the other courses that we have. These are some brands, I would say. And together, we offer about 110, 120 courses in these tracks. Each of these courses, I spoke about MSCIT at length, but each of these courses makes that student employable. Each of these courses are of 120 hours, but they make that student employable. And for us, as you enter the knowledge society, we ensure that there are jobs. So there's a big placement portal around this, huge placement portal around this. And we are not just talking about Mumbai, Pune, and Nagpur and Aurangabad, but even in Buldhana, even in Wardha, Chandrapur. There's a complete system which is continuously uploading these jobs. Now, over last 1 year, last 22 years, we have made 1.5 crore people IT literate. Do we keep track of every student getting a job? It's physically not possible. But the very fact that we have new students coming and doing the course, when the enrollment in the universities is going down, is enough of an indicator to say that, yes, these students are getting jobs. And another thing, if you look at the MSME anywhere, everybody is digital now. So there are softwares like Tally and everybody is using Excel and they are quite advanced Excel. So we have like advanced Excel course. There are macros, there are data entry systems. And so every course here is connected to the requirement in the marketplace.
If you have time or maybe at the end, how was this conceptualized? Where do you begin? I mean, this is now this huge.
This is an ocean. Yeah, I do understand that it. So we started with IT literacy. We started our program, our company started with MSCIT. And then we slowly understood that being digitally literate, although we conduct, we teach so many skills, we teach 250 outputs, but does that student know how to use a Tally software, for example? Doesn't know. Where are the jobs? In accounts, right? And then they need to learn how to use Tally. So we started teaching Tally. We have these tracks, which I showed earlier. So then we introduced courses in accounting. Then we understood that companies are requiring manpower knowing very good Excel. We introduced advanced Excel.
What is the method of this we understood?
We understood meaning we have these 5,000 centers. Then we do a lot of research. We look at different job portals. That's how we gather our data. So
What you do is associate with continuous
definitely, yes, yes. There's a lot of interaction which happens with our centers. There's a lot of research that we do. We study what Davos is saying, what the World Economic Forum is saying. Where are the trends? Like, for example, right now, everything is about AI and ML. But how many students really know how to give a right prompt? And give not just one prompt, but go from one prompt to another, to another, to another. And yesterday I had a meeting with some educational institutes, and they said, ma'am, please don't teach this to the students yet. First, please teach the faculty members. So we are coming out with a prompt engineering for educators.
So you have a cell within your company that continuously does this assessment.
We all do this. We are all grounded. Yes, but we have a learning innovations program which does this. We have a team over there. Without everything, we are dead. Without even one thing, we are dead. Because it requires a complete ecosystem. It's not just preparing the content, but learning how a student learns. Students at various age groups learn differently. That's why it's pedagogy, andragogy. Different age group students learn differently. Some like it colorful, some like it fast. All our content is sequential. We are very strict about it. We say that unless you learn this, you cannot move forward. Unless you have learned this skill, unless you have learned this output, you cannot move to the next output. Why? Because it's very essential. So we are very highly academically oriented, but to the students, we say we are very flexible. Learn all these things. Yes.
Have a way which can hold
Yes.
students who also need to know.
I will show you that. Yes. So we have a very, very wide age group. Although we target youth 16 to 22 or 18 to 24, whatever. But like I showed you, we have students in schools who do this course. Primarily, it's the 10th standard students who do this, 10th onwards. We are into skilling, reskilling, and upskilling. Those three words are very important. Skilling is when you're first learning all these skills. Reskilling is when you are at the workplace, but you are struggling. You don't know how to write a macro, for example. That's when you start realizing that I have a job, but I don't know how to do this. So I need to acquire some skill. I need to enroll, I need to learn. And then there are people who want to change their jobs or want to get promoted. So the upskilling happens there. So these courses are targeted for skilling, reskilling, and upskilling. And people come and do these courses. So these courses, what does it allow? It allows these students, once they are digitally literate, they stand up on their own feet in their hometown. They can work in their hometown. Like as mentioned earlier, that agricultural income, 65% of the population is still over there. They have only half of the income that the urban households have. Now, how do you supplement that? We can't tell them that, forget agriculture. Somebody has to do agriculture, right? But how can we supplement them? Supplement their income with, in Marathi we say, ek hath matit, ek hath laptop vardi. I don't know how many of y'all understand that, but it's pretty easy. That be there, be connected, work locally, be connected globally. Those are very important things. So we cannot have, because excessive urbanization is happening, we cannot have them migrate to urban areas and become urban poor. So these skills ensure that they can stay in their hometowns. I'll come to your question because I have that in my presentation. When they are literate, digitally literate, they are confident, they tend to stay in their workplaces and do a better job. All our courses are required across the segment of the population. It's required in government, it's required in private, it's required in NGOs, it's required everywhere. So as an organization, we are profit making because we have to run the company, we have to run the show, but social impact is of great importance to us. Look at this picture. This is a picture from a matrimonial site. So how have we made an impact to the society? She says that I have done BA and MSCIT. And you will find this in most of the matrimonial columns in the newspapers in Maharashtra. You asked me about senior citizens, but before that, she's a physically challenged girl. But because she is digitally literate, she's able to work from home and earn a decent living.
Can you please translate that? It's quite
Good luck.
computer keyboard पे लक्ष्मी के पैर
No, I'm just trying to. Just a second here. संगणकाच्या कीबोर्डवरती धावली लक्ष्मीची पावले. You want me to translate that? Okay, this girl, her name is Lakshmi, and obviously she doesn't have her arms, but with her feet, she is able to work from home and make a decent living because nobody is going to take her to the workplace every day, right? Otherwise, physically challenged people, they are continuously dependent on their family members, and their family members are invariably in agriculture, and I'm just giving you examples of agriculture, but honestly, this is across the state, okay? This is in metropolitan areas. In fact, one of our center here at Nisha's center, where is that? Kulaba, what is the name of our center? Budhrani Trust. Huh? Budhrani Charitable Trust. So people from Navinagar, these, they always go over there and they do these courses. The nearest to this campus is a center very close by here. Then we have, you were asking me about senior citizens. This sense of liberation, they feel like writing about it. Because imagine if my grandmother knew how to use the smartphone the right way. Maybe she's not using a laptop, but there are so many people who write about what a liberating feeling it has been the moment they become IT literate. It's not knowing how to use a smartphone. There's a difference there because that generation still wants to write a letter to the editor on a computer, okay? They still want to do that. They want to connect with their kids and grandkids outside. They want to write an email and they feel very liberated doing that. So there are many thousands and thousands of such articles which come in the newspapers. These are just a few cuttings of that. I'm going to give you just one more example very quickly. COVID highlighted this much later. We have been teaching our students to become digital freelancers. Stay in your hometown. Don't have to come all the way to the city and live like an urban poor, because you can get the global opportunities by staying there. So this is developing the youth for accessing the freelancing opportunities. These are so many platforms. We teach these students how to access these platforms, how to bid. These are students from vernacular medium, mind you, they do not know how to write English, how to speak English, but they bid because we teach them all these skills. They learn Grammarly. You just need to give them those, handhold them for some time, and then they are on their own. And freelancing happens in various sectors. It happens across, and in fact, in the last 1 or 2 years, it has expanded. And one would imagine that with so much AI and happening, Dolly is there, Midjourney is there, why are people still outsourcing these jobs? In fact, now when the jobs are posted, they say, please make sure you use Midjourney, because then they get their work done much faster, right? So these are some of the various jobs which are available, and these are the payments that they can receive. And last time when I was here, I had shared out my complete experience of training people to become freelancers. And at that time, this was a very interesting experience, which I had not expected. We had run a small pilot project in Orissa, and we had taught them how to become freelancers. And we said, okay, we don't know how when you want a project to work, you pump in resources. So we were paying them a stipend at the end of 1 year, and they were trainees and interns for a year. And these were people who had come from the remotest parts of Orissa. We said, if it works in a remote part in Orissa, it will work anywhere. At the end of 1 year, these people, I went and, I said, okay, this seems like a successful project. We want you to continue for another year. Believe me, nobody accepted our offer for the next year because they had started earning, they had stood the Abhijit Banerjee's figure, I think it's like 6,000 rupees a month. If you earn, you can survive and sustain. They were getting 20,000, 30,000 per month just from doing these freelancing jobs, staying in their hometown. Why would they didn't even want to come to Bhubaneswar? And they rejected our offer. And mind you, in MKCL, it's one of those companies that people look for. None of them wanted to join. That was really, for us, that was a very good feedback that this is working. So these courses, when I say that today, what is the problem? Why are people dropping out of higher education? Because they are not employable. They are becoming eligible. They are graduates, but they are not employable. Give them an education which helps them earn. That's the earning part, and which is essential. So that's what we do. And these are some of the various jobs which are available in the freelancing space. And these are all jobs which have dignity. And these are new age careers. We call them new age careers because these are careers. It's not like nobody aspires to work in a bank nowadays. They do not. And I mean, those jobs are gone, thank God. But these are absolutely new jobs. I'm racing against time, but I'm going to just speak about, I spoke to you about our journey of making people literate in the knowledge society. And literacy here doesn't mean how to read and write, but requires the skills that I need to be confident when I enter the workplace. Day one, the HR will say, I don't have budget to train you. I have a computer. You need to know how to put your signature. Students used to struggle. They would put a signature on a piece of paper, then take it scan it and do you have an automated signature in your Outlook? Small things, but makes a huge difference. It's a small thing, but makes a huge difference. So which are our other interventions? And I'm just going to walk through very, very fast in this. These are digital transformations in Edge. I spoke to you about education, but we do similar work in governance in different parts of the country. MKCL's Finishing School is one such experiment that we have been working on for the last 10 or 12 years, I must say. Students are not employable. I'm going to come back to the same point. They are not employable. But what is meaningful education? What is meaningful education? Meaning education is where I am able to learn from seniors, right? I'm able to imitate them. I'm able to take their guidance on a daily basis. This is a unique program that we started basis Mahatma Gandhi's Nayi Talim model, where you learn from work. So work is knowledge, and because of that, you can do more profound work. That is Nayi Talim. That is the terminology that Mahatma Gandhi gave. And here, students get recruited by companies right after 12th standard. And they work in various companies. They work in areas which require service profiles. So they work in accounts, they work in HR, they work with the reception, they do guest facilitation, they work in supply chain. And 3 years, they work at the company with their mentors and their guides and their appraisers, continuously giving them feedback. And this is a earn while you learn degree program where they are earning a stipend. Right after 12th, imagine they get a minimum stipend of 8,000 rupees every month. So their ROI happens immediately. We get educated, we get our graduation degree. At the end of 3 years, we wait for a company to hire us. In MKCL's finishing school, the student starts first with an offer and says, okay, every month you're getting a stipend. Plus, it is supplemented by learning. So there's no rote learning. The learning on the job is supplemented by learning. We have lots of e-learning content, and same, all the content is made available to them. There are examinations, there are assessments, there are continuous comprehensive assessments. Most importantly, their self-esteem is preserved. They are working in a dignified environment. And at the end of 3 years, this is the most important thing, they are getting a degree by the university. And their resume now says, I have 3 years experience. They no longer say that I'm a fresher. That is the entire beauty of this program. In fact, Dr. Kakurkar and Professor D.B. Phatak is with IIT, and he always says, we need to introduce this in IIT. Dr. Kakurkar always says, meet the institutions and ask them, tell them about this program, because this is really meaningful education. Otherwise, it is all bookish knowledge and rote learning. So this is a degree with a difference. We have 3 degrees in this. One is a BBA in Services Management, one is a BSc in Computer System Administration, and one is a BBA in livelihoods, sustainable livelihoods. Because so many people at the, even in cities, there are people who drop off newspapers. They have their dad in their stores, medical stores or textiles shops and whatnot. But actually they are learning. They know they are learning continuously how to talk to customers. If they do not have soft skills, their business is not going to happen. So they are all the time learning. So these are 3 degrees that we have. And YCMOU and Indira Gandhi National Open University are the degree providing authorities. Like I mentioned, we have been building on this, and we have more than 100 companies and 3,000 vacancies. And there are thousands of vacancies. I just put this figure for this year. These are the different roles in service industries. At the workplace, there are various roles. And the best part is there is a continuous rotation. Okay. At the workplace, they are getting exposed to all sorts of customers. There are internal customers, there are external customers, there are employees, and these are some of the companies who are associated with us. This is another huge digital transformation. So there are, crores of people who are beneficiaries in the system. How to reach out to these people? Government keeps, pushing money, and they say, हमने ये किया है, वो किया है. लोगों को कहाँ मालूम है? So this is JanLabh is one such portal which is available to everybody. In this, what happens is the welfare schemes are known to the people because we have such a grassroots presence. Governments rely on us. They say, okay, these welfare schemes are there. We don't know whom to give out these seats to. We don't know whom to give out this money for constructing a well or doing drip irrigation. These schemes are pushed through our system, and there are about 417 schemes of Government of Maharashtra, and lakhs of citizens access this portal by just 2 or 3 data points. So the citizen just has to give his name and little bit information, which village I'm staying in, that's it. And the system throws out, these are the benefits for you. Now, from that point, so it's a big amount of handholding that we do for the citizens. So this is one of our governance activities. There's another, we have done these activities in, for example, Orissa. Gram Sabha Sashaktikaran, GSSK, in case anybody here is from Orissa. This is a software system because when you want to avail of grants of the government, unless the Pali Sabhas, people in the Gram Panchayat, they have to tell what they want. They want this money for toilet, they want this money for building a road or a school or whatever. Unless this information comes into the system, government cannot push those grants. Let me tell you that sometimes these grants do not come for 2 to 3 years. I need a toilet today. But because this information is not there, the grant doesn't come. It comes after 3 years. In this system, it happened instantly, and we won the Prime Minister's Golden Peacock Award. So we made, and imagine this happening in Orissa, right? Where people were uploading all their information. In a matter of 30 days, it happened. where in the first week of April, the money was disbursed and everybody they were so stunned, they were so surprised that this could happen. So what does digital intervention mean? I'm just giving you one more example of what this means, when you bring large platforms which are very easy to understand, which are affordable, these things happen. None of this happens free, but it is very affordable. This is another digital transformation where we worked with 4,000 schools in the state of Orissa. And this is one of the largest ICT program in India, where 18 lakh students, you will be able to see in the previous slide, lack of resources, right? So 4 or 5 students accessing one computer, but each student answering the question with an extended mouse, if you see on that picture. So these are interventions. We even designed the tables and we said, okay, make sure that the tables are designed in this way where so many girls can sit together and watch the screen. So these are, small things, but like I said, we come in as a knowledge partner. We are not software vendors. Another interesting thing that we did in Vanamitra, in India, 20% of the population actually belong there, if you see their ancestors or their land holdings are in the forest. And we didn't know about all of this. So there's a Forest Act. And as per this Forest Act, you're supposed to give that land holding back to that individual or back to that community whose ancestors were staying there. We studied the Indian Forest Act and we designed our software. And this is one of the largest projects happening in Madhya Pradesh. We call it Vanamitra. And people have been getting back their land. Okay, this is this. And you can see that total claims that were submitted were 5 lakh. And so many people, gets approved, rejected, whatever the case may be. And government at that time, the CM, he distributed the certificates because this was the first time ever it was happening in India. So what it means to uplift and empower the people is digital literacy, empowering them, making sure that what belongs to them goes back to them. These are very important things. Also, we work with several universities in India. These are very large platforms where more than 22 million students access. And the platform enables a student to go from admission to convocation. Everything is there in that system. And it helps the educators, it helps the students, everybody. So about 20 to 25 universities in India use this large system. Sir mentioned that we are a 400-member team. We have offices in Mumbai, Pune, and Nagpur. Also internationally, we have offices. And most of the ideation, the platform building, everything is indigenous. We do not get anything from outside because if we get any of the software, any of the frameworks, it's not going to work in the Indian conditions. So we have a large, almost half of them are software developers. 1/3 of them are content developers. And so the entire ideation happens in-house. We continuously do a lot of research, ensuring that the cost of doing business for these 10,000 centers in India, the cost of doing business should go down so that their profitability goes up. And mind you, every student pays from their pocket. Every student. And the affordability is understood just because 1.5 crore students have done this course. To give you a feel about, I spoke about who are the stakeholders. So we ensure that every person in the system, every component, when you work on a large canvas, if it's not a win-win model, people will walk out. So it's one of those very unique enterprises where we ensure that our partners, there are 10,000 centers, they make a living for themselves. It is decent, it is dignified. They bring in the zeal and enthusiasm of a private entrepreneur. The government brings the credibility. And we bring all the innovations and we bring all the products and the courses that are required to live in a knowledge society. These are the returns to the government. And so many times the government nominees tell us that you are probably the only corporation who pays us without we asking you or calling for it, because the companies don't do, like PSUs don't do that well. But over last few years, we've been, paying a very hefty dividend to the government. So thank you so much, sir. I hope I have not exceeded in any moment. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm open to all sorts of questions. I will try and attempt to answer them. This is a public limited company, but shares are not traded because we are so much into knowledge inputs. We believe in knowledge inputs. We do not believe in setting up brick and mortar, although we have our offices, but we continuously innovate.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And really it took us to a wonderful world where we couldn't, we only know here and there, few institutions do make some difference, but not, I also thought that it is the whole operation is just limited to Maharashtra, but some of the success stories that you talked about, all the way spanning to east, west, north,
Yes.
south, it really shows the length and breadth of your activity.
And sir, I did not speak about many such activities that we do. We have very large frameworks, like, for example, I was mentioning to her that, what is the one thing that everybody wants a job, right? It has to be on merit. That's another thing. In Haryana, we run one of the largest staff selection commission, Haryana Staff, HSSC, Haryana Staff Selection Commission, and 80 to 90 lakh applications are processed to that. We allow the candidate to apply. We do not get into anything else. We allow the candidate to apply. We process, allow them to appear for the exam. We process the results and we give it to the government. A complete flawless system. And we have been running this right now. We are doing this for Government of India, Department of ICMR, Department of Immunology. Every weekend there are exams going on. And we have a full-fledged examination platform. In Saudi Arabia, more than 54 lakh students appear for exams on our platforms. This has been going on for many years. So, it's software prowess, technological prowess, business innovation, partnership innovations, pedagogy innovations, everything plays a role. Still, internally, we feel that we have miles to go. Yes, sir.
We want a real-time information. With the advancement of artificial intelligence, how demand for Microsoft Excel or Microsoft Office is affecting?
How the demand for advanced Excel courses?
No. Right now, artificial intelligence like ChatGPT is so much advanced or advancing. So how these knowledge or demand for this knowledge is affecting?
Yes. So I showed you our pillar for MSCIT course. We are already teaching artificial intelligence over there. In fact, we teach our students how to give right prompts and create images. So I'm not an artist. I do not know how to draw, but by giving the right prompt, I can make wonderful images, and you will be surprised. You will say, no, this is definitely something that a human being has prepared. So we teach those skills also. I hope I have answered your question. Yeah, because our content, I'm glad you asked this question. I'll also explain that, see, especially in this field, there's something new happening every day, right? So when we are preparing content in-house, the center pings to our central server every day. They have to mandatorily ping. They ping to our server, where we get the data from them, all those who are not connected online continuously. When they ping, we get the data of the students, how much learning has happened. At that time, we push new content. So that is how that system works. And that is why it is quasi-online. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. By the time you pick up your phone, sorry, the mic. Just Vivek Dada, you want to go ahead and ask?
Yeah. Thank you very much for a very.
No, we can't hear you well. Can you?
Wait on. thought I have enabled my speaker. Can you hear me now?
Maybe you can repeat his question. You can hear
No?
Or you can type it possibly.
Hello?
Not really.
Maybe ask him to type it while we.
Can
Okay,
you
now?
type in?
Yeah, I can type, okay.
Not sure if the problem is with us or with you, but
Okay, then maybe I will type then if you cannot hear.
okay. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Sure. I have two questions. One is you talked about public and private corporation that it is.
Public-private enterprise.
Enterprise, yeah. Was it like that from the beginning or was it a private enterprise before and then later on because there was so much benefit involved that the government got involved?
No, it was a very conscious, decision at the time. So so this company was promoted by government of Maharashtra. Okay, it was promoted by the Department of Higher and Technical Education. There were academicians involved who had written the report that a company like this should be formed. It should not be funded, but government should have an equity. But why government should have an equity? Because they bring credibility into the system, and they are in it for the for a long term, right? But the private parties bring the zeal and the enthusiasm. They mobilize these students, and the moment you say that you have to stand up on your own feet, so it's just the equity which was given to the company when we started. So it was always been a very conscious choice that this is how we want to do it. We do not want to take grants from the government because then you lose your autonomy, right? And then, there are other things that you cannot change the curriculum. You have to send every file to the government and it has to come to Mantralaya. It will go through every desk officer and they recognize. They said if we had a complete majority in this, you wouldn't have gone to Orissa, you wouldn't have gone to Haryana, you wouldn't have gone to Saudi Arabia. They know this, they recognize this. So it has always been a conscious choice. It has also been a very conscious choice not to go for IPO.
And I have to
Can I interrupt? Are you going to attend the interaction session? Okay, so I request you to kind of have that question because there are. Alak, do you want to ask? Alak, can you hear us?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we could.
Okay. Ms. Kamath, I'm listening to you from a remote area in Sundarban, West Bengal. I'm a retired TIFR faculty who had the pleasure of meeting you at Dr. Kakodkar's 80th birthday celebrations.
Yes, sir.
Now, in Sundarban,
Yes.
yeah. Now in Sundarban, I met a few ICT teachers in information and computer technology teachers who teach part-time in local higher secondary schools and who also had actually some activities before beyond school students, and they were trying to go on a much wider scale. But they were asking how to manage the financial model of such activities in a remote area where the corporate or the government funding may be sparse and where common people and even the consumers of education have a very little spending power. It's not easy to sustain financially a business on the side, even if that's some basic IT services, along with this kind of school-based teaching. Can you say something more about how your remote centers can financially sustain themselves in this kind of activities, or how to, for example, interface with local village and panchayat governments to do their IT services, like what you mentioned for One Mitra?
Yes.
MP government.
MP government. So there are, so every component in this scaling up is very essential. We need to have the government participate in this. I have had meetings in West Bengal, and one of the things that they said, see, for example, in Bihar, this is a state-funded project, and government said that we want to uplift and do capacity building of our youth. When I went to West Bengal, they said that we want to spend. They insisted that they would not like a public-private community partnership where it is not a state-funded project. Okay, so it fizzled out. Our discussions over there fizzled out. We need to go with government because they bring the credibility. There are a lot of private fly-by-night operators across the country. But the moment there's an offering or there's an acceptance of the local examining body, then it flies like anything. Like in Maharashtra, when it kick-started, this program kick-started, and computer penetration had just increased around the turn of the century, government said, the Department of Higher and Technical Education said that this course should be done mandatorily by everybody seeking a government job. Okay. Today, people hardly remember that. They do not remember that. They do not do this course because this is going to give them a government job. They do it because whether a government job or no government job, they are going to they are going to start being able to earn some money. In West Bengal, this is a success story, right? So why couldn't we replicate this across the country in every state? That's why I said that this is just a drop in the bucket. This is not much. We have miles to go. Because when we go to any state, because we want the government to join hands with us, it takes a lot of time. It takes years to go, convince them. I'm putting them on one slide. Every state, we have burned the midnight oil. We've flown there n number of times. Every time you go, you meet different officers. And then they'll say, oh, you're from Maharashtra. Why should we send money back home? There are n number of questions in this. So we have to make it sustainable. And all these elements are important aspects in this, where the government says, okay, we are with you. This is let's kickstart somewhere. We will give you one document which says that every government employee should do this course. Anybody seeking, like in the US, they said that when the financial crisis hit the US in 2008, the US government said, henceforth, anybody seeking a loan should have done a financial literacy course. That's all they said. Now, students were graduating, they were graduating from high school and universities, but if they have to get a loan, do this course. So you need one enabler in the system. Yeah. I hope I have answered your question, sir.
So, Datar, you want to try?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Your microphone was muted somehow. Yeah. Anyway, so thank you very much, Mrs. Kamath, for this beautiful lecture. My question relates to the fact that, IIT Madras has developed software for, converting lectures, and even in real time, they can do it. Say the lecture is in one language, it can be converted to something in any other language, any other Indian language. I think at least 16 languages, if I'm not mistaken. So is this of some interest to your enterprise?
Yes, sir, we can explore that. Nowadays, there are, I respect what IIT Madras has done, but there are a lot of AI tools which have come, like DubDub. It's called DubDub. You prepare a video in English and then, instantly it translates in multiple languages. So
okay.
There are lots of tools which have come, and of course, it requires human intervention after that. Or I can prepare a content and have it in Italian and Spanish or whatever. So yes, but of course, if it's suiting the Indian language and the Indian dialect, we can always take a look at it.
Okay.
Supposed to be a student postdoc interaction session.
Okay.
But I don't want to cut short this discussion because I think, the questions asked are interesting to everybody. So if you don't mind taking a couple more questions here,
Yeah, of course.
and then we'll go to the interaction session when we are done here. I think the 30 people signed up for that, and there's some 30 people in the room. So how many of you are in the interaction session? Like everybody. So इधर ही हो रहा है. Okay,
So we
if you
were
don't
supposed to move to some other
No,
location?
we'll do a couple of questions here, and
Okay.
then because there is tea and snacks in the other room.
Oh,
so-
okay. That sounds encouraging and interesting.
So actually, I will sneak in my question, then hand it to Mansi. So how did you identify this? I don't even want to call it a niche because niche implies it's small. It's not, it's enormous. But it's somehow you identified a need and brought to bear multiple sort of multi-pronged approach to solve it. How was the genesis of this whole quest?
See, because this is a company which is a profit making, yet social impact is important. That's also those are two simultaneous equations that we have to solve at the same time. We have to run the company, we have to pay salaries, we have to increase business. And then we have to entice people and tell them that you have to stand up on your own feet. You have to feel empowered. Nobody is going to send you money home, right? So we said, okay, which is that target audience, which is moldable, right? The gadgets and, who it is found or who accepted those gadgets first, the youngsters. When this GR came out that government employees have to do this course, oh man, they did not accept it. Why should I do it? मी तर प्रमोट झालेलोच आहे. मला काही गरज नाही. But government said, no, if you want to now get promoted, you have to do this course. So it is very difficult because at that age, you feel that your qualification is enough. I may feel my MBA that I got 30 years back should suffice for my life. Honestly, it is obsolete. So we all need to, change. And that's where we said, okay, where's the largest population? The 10th standard students. That's going to bring us the business. They need to learn. They will learn because there's something attractive in that laptop. There's something attractive in that computer. They are moldable. That's how we came to that. So way back 2000, we started this company. Operations began in 2002, but around 2005 is when we started making a mega pitch to students from the 10th and 12th standard. And even today, that is one of our, earlier our centers would never go and meet these students. हम center है, customer ने हमारे पास आना है, right? The moment we changed this and we said, go and make it very attractive, we started printing flyers and brochures. Nataraj is a big part. He designs all our ads for us. So 25 lakh students we reach out to. Now, when does the exam start, Nataraj? 22nd February. All our 5,000 centers are out meeting these 25 lakh students in the exams, outside the exam centers, 10th and 12th. We use every medium. We have, you must have seen in Mumbai local trains, MSCIT. Huh? They'll say MSCIT train ali. Those are very costly, but we do that. Then we have outside bus stands, MSRTC bus stands. You will see those who travel into the interiors. Then we have buses in Mumbai, buses, all those buses are painted. We go all out to reach out to the people. We go all out. And these are courses of, even our digital IT literacy. If it's for Maharashtra, no. They must know what is the best today. So it's there are marketing innovations also in this. There are partnership innovations. We have to keep our centers. See, we are in Maharashtra, right? We are not in Gujarat, where business is in their DNA. In Maharashtra, they are first-time entrepreneurs. Most of them are first-time entrepreneurs. So for them, it is a big thing. Today, the situation is different. Today, they come, शादी नहीं हो रही है वगैरह वगैरह, agrarian family के लोग हैं तो लड़की नहीं मिलती है. They'll come to the families will come to our center and say, ह्याला नौकरी द्या, पगार देऊ नका. So matrimonial पे बोल सकते हैं, हाँ, operating a computer center. That is the attraction. See the matrimonial, how they write BA, MSCIT. Why? Because that girl can then start a center. Makes a huge difference. Yeah, it's now in the social, it has gotten mainstreamed. They feel that no, that's required. I met some ladies, in Nasik, Yevle, where all the Paithani saris come from. These girls are yet to get married, so they wouldn't know Paithani Sada. And I was so surprised that center owner said, Madam, those two ladies, their in-laws own the jewelry shop over there. So I said, what are they doing here? No, the jewelry shop owner said that they must learn tally. Okay. The two daughters-in-law of that family, they were learning tally in our center because they don't want to give the accounts outside. So you go and you meet these people, then you understand their frame of mind, which is distinctly different.
You're also making Maharashtrians businessmen.
Yeah, we had to teach them because they didn't know how to check whether their center is profitable or not. So 1 year we did this exercise and we said, okay, write your business plan. Hey, काय असतं? अरे भैया, आपको डालना है? नहीं, घर चलता है. अरे घर चल रहा है. So then we said, okay, आपका accounts दिखाइए. They didn't know that. They had put, so much money goes in salaries, so much in electricity, so much in rent, falana. He had not put his wife who is working over there or coming in to help out, or his own, when he goes and does marketing, he's using his motorbike. Petrol पे तो खर्चा किया है ना, उसका खर्चा कौन डालेगा? नहीं सर, खिशात पैसे ते घातलं. अरे भैया, अकाउंट्स कैसे नहीं लिखते हैं? We have taught them that also. Communication skills. Going out and fetching, mobilizing these students is done by our centers. They go out to these schools, they go out to the colleges, they entice the school principal and say, okay, can I come and do this for you? Like, for example, okay, you ask me, what is one of the burning problems because of smartphones? Cybersecurity, right? So we spoke to RBI and we said that we feel cybersecurity is a big concern. They said, yes, that's a big concern. Said, can you allow us to conduct, you tell us which are the problems that you feel are there, and people are getting, they're getting entangled. And trust me, the problems are, what we read in the papers are just tip of the iceberg. We are not reading so much, okay? Because people are falling a prey to cyber threats, cyber crime problems, falling a prey. And they said, yes, this is a big concern, but we come out with these leaflets and small write-ups, and we send it to all the schools. Who is going to read that? We conduct tens of thousands of cyber security sessions across Maharashtra. So we prepared the content, we gave it to these centers and said, okay, take this and ask the principal, can I conduct this session? That's how we enter. We are not doing anything wrong. We're educating people. Okay, it costs us, fine. But this is social awareness and it's very important. So we go into these societies, we meaning our centers, okay? They go into these societies and they say, whenever you have a society meeting, can you allow me to come and educate the people about cybersecurity? Come and do that. So it's a huge, I would say, so many people are involved in this. There are around 25,000 facilitators. So with 5,000 centers, there are at least 25 to 30,000 people working in the system. Huge. Yes, sir. RBI, yeah, then later on RBI started approaching us. We are giving you this content, please conduct this session. So that one letter which allowed us to go into the schools, and the colleges helped us.
I'd allow one last question, so maybe we should have it.
Okay.
And then we'll all just move up to the other.
Yeah, because the other part will go and have a cup of tea and you have a cup of tea and the fourth floor, so there's some of, yeah. Okay, the last.
A short one only. How do you think we as researchers can contribute to the content? Or,
Yes, we've been discussing this.
future.
Oh, you want to contribute to the content?
I mean,
Most welcome. Most welcome. Yeah, we can teach you rapid content development. We can teach you that. No, I'm serious. We teach that to so many people.
First, sign up for the courses. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes.
So how we come to know this is recognized by you?
This is a
Recognized computer class.
we have our we even give them the board. What should be on that board? MKCL's Authorized Learning Center. Yeah, and it has a center code over there that says that it is authorized by us. Yeah, you're a very important question because we do not now that we have 5,000 centers, these centers have to be profitable, right? So whenever we we say that we want to expand our network, we have to be very careful that these centers don't feel hurt. It's a business. For them, it's their bread and butter. So we have a center registration process and a renewal process. And in that, we inform the open areas. Which area is open? Like, for example, in Kolaba, Nevinagar, this area, we have a center in that Budhrani Trust. Then we have Sophia College, multiple centers. But if there are enough centers which serve that population, then we do not give new centers. So we have this network which puts in that system, okay, this is a closed area.
What is the Vaibichavan Center?
Yes, we have in Vaibichavan Center.
Private classes for such things.
Yeah, it is a private class. It is run by a private entrepreneur. So these 5,000 centers are all private entrepreneurs.
So we've let this roll just because we've all been gripped. I mean, I don't think any of us looked at the clock. But a small memento, it's 40 years of our asset colloquium series.
Oh,
in which we're now
nice.
speaking.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
So actually, I'd like to invite everybody in the room to the interaction, whether you signed up or not, because this seems to be an